Today we have with us Italia Struble. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Kaylee.
I am very excited to talk with you. So you have a remarkable story. Italia has turned her online business dreams into reality while balancing a nursing career and then fearlessly transitioned to remote working life in Germany. Italia loves to talk about personal branding, social media mastery, and marketing wizardry. She goes beyond business success to a holistic journey to unlock your true potential and bask in the life you've always envisioned. That's so creative. I'm super excited. So go ahead and tell us about your journey, how you went from nursing to Germany to marketing. How did all that come about?
Honestly, it's been a journey. It all started with actually going to Thailand, and I met my husband in Thailand. At that time, I was a nurse, and we ended up moving up to California. We lived there for a couple of years, and then he was like, "Actually, I don't like it here." And I did what everyone does, and I Googled how to make money online.
Yep.
And blogging was the first thing that popped up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start a blog. That's what I'm going to do because everyone keeps telling me like our love story is unique and, us traveling and doing stuff is very unique. So I'm like, I'm just going to share that. That's where I'm going to go with this. And so I started my blog in 2020. And of course, it was a travel blog.
Yes.
And then the world shut down, and I was like, okay, we're not traveling. So I guess I'm
Ooh.
right. What am I going to do? I'm not going to do that. And so I ended up focusing on growing my platform and growing a personal brand. And in doing that, I found that I was more passionate about why people were liking, why people were commenting, why people were buying certain things, why brands wanted to work with you, just all of these different aspects that come with posting your content online and actually making money from it. And then, so by the end of that year, I ended up going into social media management, and I worked for a multi-million dollar company, working for them for about 2 years, doing social media management while also doing, clientele work and
Wow.
creating courses and just kind of like putting the blocks together and as I went. And now I do all of the things. I no longer do social media management, but I do social media strategy. And I'm a real, especially when all of the short form video came out, and I think people were like in shell shock. And
Yeah.
so I deal with a lot of clients with that and conversions. And so it really brought me to that and having a membership and just really focusing on small businesses rather than
Mm,
these large corporations,
yes.
because what I learned was a lot of the things that these big businesses are doing are things that us as small businesses can apply to our business. The only difference is we don't try, or we think like,
Right.
oh, it might not work, right?
Right. That's super cool. Yeah, I started off in social media as an intern and then grew to now doing this. And I think so many people, small businesses in particular, don't necessarily realize how important social media is. And, they're like, I can't do it like Nike did it. Therefore, I don't need to be on social media. Well, you're not expected to handle stuff like Nike does on their promotional things. So I think just taking a step back and being like, all right, just because you're a small business doesn't mean your social media can't succeed. Social
Hmm.
media, if you know how to do it, the right tools, it's going to be awesome. We all know that social media can be overwhelming. You think it takes so much time. You look at all these amazing creators who are doing insane viral posts and think, how can I ever measure up to them? The good thing is, you don't have to. Your point for being on social media is probably to earn money. You want to increase your sales, you want to gain more clients so that you can have more free time to pour into your clients, to pour into your family. Digital Journey can help you with that. We have a group coaching program targeted specifically for people who are overwhelmed with social media. It's really not as complicated as you think. We can teach you how to spend 15 minutes or less a day on social media so that you can gain more clients and you can up your sales. So if you want to learn more, you can go to digital-journey.net and we'd love to help you out. Now, back to the episode. You mentioned short form video and reels. Now, our target, like the main people that listen to this, are real estate agents. So, reels can be such a big thing for them when it comes to showing houses. Can you delve into like a specific strategy or technique about reels that you've discovered that consistently resonates and drives engagement?
I think it's kind of funny to me right now in the real estate industry. There's people that are paying hundreds and thousands of dollars for video, right? I've seen
Yes.
all of the different real estate people, and I think it can be scary coming into this and being like, okay, now I've got to spend a lot of money to create content for a house. And I think the thing is not about like how cool your drone is that flies over the house and shows all of this stuff. I'm more connected and other people are more connected. And what really works is people connecting with you as a real estate agent. And so the way that you do that is by telling your story and sharing things about you and even including yourself. I don't see a lot of this,
Yes.
including yourself inside of the tours. Maybe you give the tour and you're showing people around, you're opening the doors, you're explaining different things as if somebody was already working with you. I think
Mm,
that is something that would be very powerful in that industry and aligns with storytelling because it is cool to see a lot of houses. And I've seen a lot of those pages. You get a lot of saves or you get a lot of people like liking and commenting and whatever.
right.
And you want people to buy the house. And in
Exactly.
order for
Exactly.
people, right? Like that's the goal. You want them to buy the house. And in order for them to buy the house, then they need to one, connect with you as a person, right?
Yes.
They could see your listing and then be like, oh, I really like this listing, but I see it over here. Maybe I'm going to go with this house. It's like, this is similar, but they want to connect with you as a person. So I think putting in more of you. And I think people get scared of that. It's like, why do they care about me? People buy from people and they want to know more about you. So with the short form videos, I suggest to create more of a visual plus an audio,
Mm,
even doing voiceovers of your
yes.
voice, just so your clientele gets to know you as a person, or even having a couple of videos where you introduce them to you and what type of homes you sell. Because even in real estate, there's different types of niches, right? Do you
Right.
sell luxury homes? Are you a family home type of person? Are you selling bachelor pads? Like, what is the main thing that you're selling? And how can people start to work with you and kind of giving them details? What steps do they need to take in order to even come contact you? And that education is really key because we did not learn how to buy a house right? We did not learn how to buy
Right.
a house
Right.
in
That's
high
not something we're
school.
taught.
Nobody knew how to do that. It was the same with me when I was trying to buy a house. I really connected with the a real estate agent because of their story, and I was looking for different people. I was looking at all the houses, but I really connected them because they walked me through step by step of what I needed to do. And if I was a person who was like, okay, I'm going to do this by myself, I could have probably done it by myself, but I then trusted them to say, oh no, I'm actually going to go with this person because they just walked me through this whole thing for like free.
That's really good. And I think sometimes when people think of real estate, they think, okay, all I'm worried about is how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, property, and you don't realize buying or selling a house is emotional because that's where
Mhm.
you're going to make your memories or that's where you have already made memories. And there's so much more to it's not just all numbers, it's not just all the tangible things, but it's is this house right for me, my family, my memories. So having a real estate agent that is willing to be vulnerable themselves and not be like, yeah, I'm just here for business, but yeah, we all have emotions. That is something that when I've worked with realtors before, that's really stood out to me. They're caring about me as a person, not just how much they're going to get paid if they make a sale to me. And
Exactly.
I had one realtor come through my group mastermind, and she really ended up getting into videos and walkthroughs of houses and her doing tours, and it's been great for her. And even those without drone shots, you can film those kind of things on your phone, and it still do well. Which a lot of people are like, oh no, I have to have a fancy camera. It's like no, nope, phones are pretty good right now. So real estate investment adds a unique dimension to your journey. Could you share a decision or strategy in the real estate realm that was particularly pivotal for your financial growth?
I think what getting an investment property was something that was very key in my growth and financial and also understanding, going back to understanding all the steps. Because I think a lot of the times in the real estate world, there's a lot of misconceptions, right? Like someone buys a home and they're like, oh, I just bought a multi six-figure dollar home. And then people think to themselves, like, oh, now I need to have a multi six figures in order to be able to afford a home. And that's not
Mm-hmm.
true. And going through that process of getting a rental property really taught me that I don't need to be rich in order to afford, right,
Right.
another property. I could just have money that is saved in order to be able to do that. So I think that was a really huge growth opportunity in the real estate investing world.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I have friends that rent out their house to people, and that's that side cash they have. It's minimal work, and it's a great investment. If you buy it in the right neighborhood, you're hopefully not going to be losing anything. And one of the other people I work with, she is moving into her mom's house, but she's keeping her house and is renting it out because her mom's moving. You can earn money by owning a house and just renting it to people or doing Airbnbs. We all know when you go to an Airbnb, you enjoy it, but you're paying for it. You're paying for having a house. And
Mhm.
so many people, that's valuable to them. And I think that's really great. We talk a little bit about being personal with social media. How can you keep your brand voice and message cohesive while catering to different mediums? Because they can all be so different. How do you make sure that your personality is genuine even when you're having to tailor it to different platforms?
One of the things that I like about having different platforms is every platform has its own vibe, right? And even inside of a platform. So if you think about Instagram itself, in the platform, there's a different vibe, right? So if you're on Instagram stories, you're posting your lunches, you're posting what you're doing behind the scenes. Like that's you kind of telling your story behind the scenes route. And then on your feed, you're really showing people carousels or giving people information, being educational. And then when it comes to reels, you really dive into the visuals. I need to really get the visuals down and get people excited about what they're seeing. And then other video content and then guides. This is where you really help them, like guide them through whatever is next step for them. One thing that I would suggest when it comes to tailoring different platforms, like if you were taking your content from Instagram and per se going to TikTok, you're not going to talk the same on
Right.
TikTok. Right? On TikTok, people want to see the real you. People want to see Instagram story you on TikTok.
Yes.
They don't want to see this like big production with the cameras and the lights and all of
Right.
this like, aesthetic, right? We want to just see you real, like post 10,000 videos a day of you just being you, right?
Exactly.
And then you go on.
They want to see you walking through a cool door you found in a house. They
Yes.
want to see a random, if there's 2 stairwells in a house, they want to see, wow, why does it connect this way? It's like that, just the random details, and it doesn't have to be scripted, which takes off a lot of the pressure.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like that's the lax platform where you can just post as you
Exactly.
go, or you think of something, you get in your car and you're like, today I'm showing a house and here's what I'm really excited about. I'm going to take y'all along later and show you what's happening.
Yes.
And, like just like continuing to have speaking in your voice is the way that you continue to go through that journey. And of course, you're going on LinkedIn, you're going to be more professional, but you still want to be yourself because, you meet people sometimes, you see them online and then you meet them in person and you're like, whoa, this was not the person. This was not the person I was talking to on social media.
And nowadays, that could be very true with AI. It's not the person you're talking to. You're talking to a robot is writing these things. And I think that's one reason why it's so important to make sure you're using your brand voice. AI can only do so much. But there's something about there is a personal touch in there. I'm big on AI for generating ideas, putting drafts together, but then never post from AI directly to a social media platform. People are going to be able to tell if a real person is doing it or if it's just a robot.
Yes, definitely. You can definitely tell. And even all the emojis, like AI just looks the same and people want to hear from you. Like you want to use it more of a resource than a crutch.
And even going back to that emotion aspect, robots don't have emotions. And that comes through in writing. And, so people, when they look at it and say, oh, this person is genuine, they're real, they care about me getting a house, not just so they can make a buck, but they want me to make memories. Or they want to sell my house to someone who's going to love it and care for it because we have such an emotional connection to homes. And so being personal and being engaging with people, having that authenticity can really set you apart from other realtors who aren't willing to take the time to do that. So if you could say one thing to the listeners about real estate, about social media platforms, brand voice, what's one last thought you would leave them with?
Don't be scared to try new things, and don't be scared to test things that you haven't seen in your industry that may be working for other industries.
That's good. Yeah. And I always tell someone, if your post doesn't do well, it doesn't do well. That's fine. Move on. You've learned something that works and something that doesn't. Social media is such a trial and error thing, and marketing in general. You have to realize you're going to make mistakes, and there's going to be some posts that you spend hours on and they flop, and there's going to be some that you spend 15 minutes on and they do well. But it's just that consistency that's really valuable. So, where can our listeners find you? Where's the best place for them to get in contact with you?
You can find me on Instagram at Atalia Struble. That's ATTALIAH Struble, STRUBEL. And also, I have a website, www.ataliastruble.com. And I'm on TikTok, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on all the social media platforms basically, but you can come catch me on Instagram.
Perfect. And we'll have all that linked in the description below. So y'all go check her out. She posts a bunch of fun content that I enjoy seeing. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me.